Thank you for tuning into Bethel, BHG TV. Like, share, and subscribe. Now our host, Pastor Johnson.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. Greetings. What is this right here? Oh, I know what that is. Greetings, brothers and sisters. How you all doing? Let me make sure my volume is on and you all can hear me. That's number one. Yes, you can. How's everybody doing? We're glad that everybody's here on a Friday night just to check in and see how everything's going with all of you all. It's Friday night. It's the 6th day of the week. I don't know why they called it Friday, but those are names that we know that did not come from the word. But this is the 6th day of the week. This is evening time. It starts the 7th day of the week. So therefore, happy Sabbath to every last one of you. We're looking to have, always looking forward to the Sabbath. Thank you all for hitting those thumbs up as you come inside the chat room. We are simulcasting live on Facebook, our Facebook page, and of course right here on YouTube. We are an affiliate of the Israel of God under Senior Pastor Henry Bowie, and we just want to come because we're powered by that teaching. And we just want to let you know that we sit under one of the greatest teachers that I have encountered. And it's a privilege to get such extended learning. So that being said, I want to say hello to all of you all. Let's see who's in our chat room so we can say hello over there to everybody. And we're going to get into this lesson. Sister Marie was the first one in the chat room tonight. How you doing, Sister Marie, Sister Barbara Betton, Brother Landon, and Brother Brian Johnson? All right. My brothers, two of our moderators, Jackson, Cynthia Jackson. Thank you for being here, Cynthia. Jermaine Wood. How you doing, Brother Jermaine? Haven't seen you in a while, my brother. Glad that all of you all are in our chat room tonight, all right? Our lesson title tonight is The Dreams. Let me see, where can I find my title at? I put a title up here tonight, and it was dealing with the dreams of Daniel and the dreams of the king of Babylon. And so we're going to deal with that tonight. Excuse me. I don't know where that came from, but you know, it happens. So we're going to be dealing with these dreams tonight, brothers and sisters, because I got some emails from a variety of people when we touched upon this lesson last week. And so the question was, could I slow it down a little bit and show the connection of these dreams? Because I said it was a connection. So the request was, could I slow it down a little bit? Just slow it down. And I want to do that. And I think that this is important when we touch upon this, because a lot of people want to see the connection. If you can understand these dreams and the connection of these dreams and what does it have to do with world prophecy and what the Lord is trying to show us, it all of a sudden will make sense. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that tonight. We're going to slow it down. Shout out to another one of our moderators, Brother Julius, in the chat room. Thank you for coming in tonight. Brother James Smith, thank you for coming in. And we're going to get right into this lesson tonight so that we can kind of break it down wherein it will make sense, okay? I think that one of the things we can understand is that Nebuchadnezzar had a dream, Daniel had a dream, and these dreams are in direct correlation. So when one of the writers asked me, they said, Pastor Johnson, I just want to see the correlation. Another young lady said, I enjoyed the lesson. I just want to see what does Nebuchadnezzar have to do with the end. So I thought, let me break this down. Because what happens is when you get one or two people who are very comfortable, who are very confident, they don't mind asking you a question. But more than times, you have a lot more people that want to know that same question. So that's why it's important. Brother Fruits, how you doing? We were able to friend you on Facebook. So just wanted to, I recognize the name, just want to let you know that we were able to do that, okay? I'm still dealing with sinuses. I will tell you all that. So why is that important this time of the year? Because I was doing good until the hurricane, when the wind came through, although we did not get the impacts of the wind, but all of that air that came from all of those other places, when it brings it with it, and it's really, my doctor told me it's going to be a couple weeks, and so what it does is it just creates an irritation, and that's what I'm dealing with. Okay, so just wanted to share that with you all. I want to tell you a little bit about our phone app, and I want you all to check it out, and the one dealing with the Israel of God, because a lot of people have also sent me emails and said, I like the lesson on the feast days, but when I went back to watch them, they wasn't there. And the reason is because these lessons can only be seen after we show them live on the app. So I'm going to show you information about this app, and I'll be right back. Yep, you can get that app on right there as we share it with you at the Israel of God website. Get that app because you can listen to the lessons in their full entirety. All right, so let's get into this lesson tonight. We're going to be showing you and comparing and contrasting the Daniel's dream and Nebuchadnezzar's dream, because I think what people want to know is how, according to prophecy in the sequential order, the chronological order of things, how is it that Daniel is given so much information? And, I would have to go back, as I told you, anytime we talk about end time prophecy, you have to read Matthew, the 24th chapter. And Jesus simply said this, and I want to make mention of it because it's not something to take lightly, because this is Jesus talking. He says, and Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that should not be thrown down. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us when these things should be, and what should be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world. I just want to concentrate on this part. What should be the sign of your coming and the end of the world? This is the end of the world as we know it. And the sign of his coming, the writer simply wanted to know, these apostles wanted to know, or the disciples, when are we going to know when we're going to see you again? Because you keep talking about you're going to come back, you're going to come back. What is the sign of your coming and the end of the world? And then Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you. That's number one. And I'm not going to read all of this, but he also said this in verse number 15. and I want to put this. Well, let me read verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. The holy place is Jerusalem. Whoso readeth, let him understand. And then he skips down. He says, when that happens, it's going to be a bad time. But then he also says this. We're not going to get into all of this. But immediately after the tribulation of those days, the Son, this is when he's going to be coming. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, shall the sun be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great joy. So when we want to know what is the sign of your coming, here's the sign of his coming. Whenever you read this in the scriptures, the sun shall be darkened, the moon shall not give her light, the stars shall fall from heaven, the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. You'll find this in Isaiah. You'll find this in Isaiah. You'll find this in the book of Ezekiel. You'll find this in Joel, Amos, several places in the scriptures. You're going to find this phrase coming from the prophets. And then when you see the sun, the moon, the stars going in a different direction, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And whenever he comes, all the tribes of the earth are going to mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Now, this is important, brothers and sisters, because what it's showing us is what's going to unfold. Now, the question is, what do those dreams that Nebuchadnezzar had and Daniel had, and what we're going to connect to the book of Revelation, what do they have to do with the end time coming? Well, let's go look at it. We're going to go to Daniel, because remember, Jesus says, when you shall see the abomination of the desolation spoken by Daniel the prophet. So we're going to go over here to the book of Daniel. Now, last week I covered some of this. However, the request is on a few different forms of information. Can you slow it down and just make the connection? So I want to do that tonight. Daniel, the 2nd chapter. Let's go over here. And this is what it says. In the 2nd year of the reign of Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar dreamed dreams, wherewith his spirit was troubled, and his sleep brake from him. And the king commanded, this was a terrible dream that the man had. But the problem is, he could not remember the dream, much less that is what was crucial to these astrologers and the magicians and the sorcerers of the Chaldeans. They need to know the dream so that they can interpret the dream. But they could not interpret the dream. So therefore they were handicapped. Probably, even if they knew the dream, the interpretation was given because it was dealing with the entire world. The interpretation was given to Daniel because none of these people could understand the dream or show what the dream was, much less the interpretation of that dream. So he wanted to kill everybody. The only person that could really tell the dream or the interpretation of the dream was Daniel. So let's go down here and look at that, and let's connect Daniel's dream. In order to connect Nebuchadnezzar's dream with Daniel, we got to understand Nebuchadnezzar's dream. So let's skip down here to that dream so you can understand and we can make the connection. All right? So we're going to go. Here's what happened. Then was a secret revealed unto Daniel in a night vision. Then Daniel blessed the God of heaven. Daniel answered and said, Blessed be the name of God forever and ever. The reason why Daniel was doing that, because the Lord not only gave Daniel the interpretation of the dream, but the Lord gave him the dream, showed him the dream that he showed to Nebuchadnezzar. Because it was so horrible of a dream, Nebuchadnezzar couldn't even remember the dream. He just knew he needed it interpreted, and he knew that he was at a handicap because he couldn't remember this horrible dream that bothered him. Blessed be the name of God forever and ever, for wisdom and might are his. And he changed the times and the seasons. This is what the God of Israel was able to do. Also, he removeth kings and set up kings. I know a lot of people say, I'm not Democrat, I'm Republican. And some people say, I'm not Republican, I'm Democrat. But just know this one thing. The Lord sets up kings and he removes kings. That's how I feel confident that whatever the Lord is doing, he is in charge, because he is the one that sets up kings and removes kings. So if there's a king in power and you don't like that king and you don't trust that king or that president or whatever it is, the Lord sets him up and he also takes him down. He giveth wisdom unto the wise and knowledge to them that know understanding. This is important because Daniel is talking here. And knowledge to them that know understanding. This is why Psalms 111 verse 10 says, the beginning of wisdom is to fear God and keep his commandments. A good understanding have all they that do his commandments. So because Daniel was an individual that kept the word of God according to the prophets and according to the scriptures, the Lord just in return does what he says he's going to do. He gives knowledge and understanding to those that are seeking after his word and his truth. Not trying to nail them to the cross. Not trying to say that they've been done away with. Not trying to say that they've been wiped out of the way. No, he gives knowledge and understanding to them that know understanding because they keep the law of God. Listen to this in verse 22. He revealeth the deep and secret things. He knoweth what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with them. So Daniel goes ahead and gives thanks to the God of Israel. So then Daniel is going to now interpret the dream. All right? So let's go down here and interpret the dream. Let's get to the dream. So we can connect it, all right? He says, Oh, as for thee, O king, thy thoughts came into the mind upon thy bed. You were asleep, and this dream came upon you. What shall come to pass hereafter? So this is important. Before we can connect the dream of Daniel and the dream of Nebuchadnezzar, we have to understand that the subject of both dreams is what shall come to pass hereafter. Okay? Listen to this. And he that revealeth secret things make known to thee what shall come to pass. So listen, a lot of people say the Lord don't tell us what he's doing, and we really don't know. Well, let me just say this. He that revealeth secret things make known to what shall come to pass. So the Lord who put Nebuchadnezzar as the king of Babylon, gave king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, a dream so he can understand what shall come to pass hereafter. Listen to this, verse 30. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that I have more than any living, but for their sakes, what shall make known the interpretation to the king, and that thou mightest know the thoughts of thy heart. So this is what he goes to do. King, verse 31, he says, you saw and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. So first of all, you saw an head, the image. It was fine gold. His breast and his arms was of silver. Now you're moving down the statue, because the first thing that you're going to have is a head. He said that head is fine gold. Then you're going to have the chest and the arms. This is the second part of the statue. So he says his image was of fine gold, and his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass. So you have this image that is of gold, silver, and brass. Gold was the head, the breast and the arms are silver, his thighs and his belly are brass. But that's just a little bit of it. Let's keep going. His legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands. So in other words, you saw the statue whose legs and his feet, that's the fourth part of this statue, are part of iron and part of clay. But it goes on and gives him a little bit more about this dream. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands. In other words, this thing stood up until a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and broke them into pieces. So that's the fourth part of the statue. When you come and smote the image upon his feet that's partly iron and clay, and broke them into pieces, there's a violation. See, here's this stone came at the fourth part of it and tore it all up, because this statue cannot stand forever. That's what Daniel's is showing Nebuchadnezzar what his dream is. This statue is not going to stand forever. Let's keep going. And when that stone struck it, then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold. This is the four parts of this. You got the head of gold, you got the arms and the chest of silver, you got the middle part being of brass, and then you got clay and iron, the fourth part. All of that was broken in pieces together and became like the shape of the summing threshing floors, and the wind carried them away. What I want you to understand here is that he gives it in order, but also he reverses the order, because the feet and stuff is the last part of the statue. All right? This is the dream. And then he says, we're going to tell you the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings. For the God of heaven have given thee, listen to this, because we're dealing with the God that sets up kings and takes down kings. So he says, the God of heaven have given you a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. These things was given unto you. Because you're not in here because of something that you acquired, because you got some big army. No. The Lord, the God of Israel, has placed you in this position. So, O king, you are a king of kings, for the God of heaven have given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And then he goes on and says, and whatsoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field, the fowls of the air of the heaven, hath he given into thine hand, and have made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. So the first thing he sees this statue standing upright, but it's got a head of gold. Then you got the chest with the arms. Let's find out a little bit more about that. And after these shall rise another kingdom inferior to thee, and a third kingdom of brass. So we got the head of gold, we got the upper torso of silver, and then we got the third kingdom, which is brass, and the fourth kingdom being clay and iron. Okay, so let's keep reading. And after these shall rise another kingdom inferior to thee, and a third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. Now this is something that he's given Daniel to understand about Nebuchadnezzar's dream. There's only 4 sections in it. Listen to this. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces, and subdue all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and the toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided. This is in the fourth kingdom, brothers and sisters. But there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. See, Daniel is given the dream as well as the interpretation of that dream. And it's his task to bring it to Nebuchadnezzar so he can understand. And he's doing that. Let's keep going. I'm not going to get into all of that, but listen to verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Because see, this fourth kingdom is going to get up. This fourth kingdom is going to, this fourth part, this fourth statue is going to come forth. It's going to do some damage. It's going to do all of that. But the stone is going to disintegrate that, and that stone is going to set up its mountains. Let's keep going. For as much as thou sawest the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it break in pieces the iron. That's the bottom part of it. That's the last kingdom. The brass, that's the third kingdom. The clay, the silver, and the gold. So the clay and the iron are really together, but the silver is this upper part, and the head is gold. The great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. So right now, what Daniel is given as it being the interpretation of the dream, it's there. It's etched in stone, although it's not being executed. That's the word. Listen to this. Then the king of Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face, and he worships Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. The king answered unto Daniel, and said, of a truth, it is that your God is a God of gods, and a Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing that thou couldst reveal this secret. And the king made Daniel a great man, and gave him many gifts, and made him ruler over the province of Babylon, the chief of governors over all the wise men of Babylon. Why? Because he was able to interpret the dream. See, once you can interpret the dream, then you can, once you see what Daniel was seeing in his vision, in his dream, then you know what to interpret. And that's what has been done so eloquently, that they laid out to say the head is the gold. The next part is kingdom number 2. The third part, and then watch out, King Nebuchadnezzar, there is a fourth part, but you don't have to worry because you won't be here. All right? So that's what he's saying. Let's go a little bit more. I'm not going to get into where he made, but let's go over here. Let's go to Daniel, the 7th chapter, because I'm going to now link this all up, because that was a dream of Nebuchadnezzar. Let's go look at Daniel's dream, all right? The first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream. So Belshazzar is related to King Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar is no longer on the picture, but his relative Belshazzar is the king of Babylon. Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. And when he wrote the dream and took the sum of the matters, Daniel spoke and said, I saw my night vision by night, and behold, the 4 winds of the heaven drove upon the great sea. And the 4th great beast came from the sea, diverse one from another. I want to stop right there because the narrative is not going to change. You're dealing with 4 kingdoms. No matter what is brought to the table, you're going to always be dealing with 4 kings. It's not going to be one that's going to get cut off. It ain't going to be none of that. There's going to be 4 kingdoms of this earth, and the last one is going to have a culmination and the power that the rest of them have. Let's get into that. The 4 great beasts came up from the sea. They all are diverse one from another. Listen to what he said. The first was like a lion, and it had eagle's wings. And I'm not going to get into all that, but let's go to see what the other one had. And verse 5, and another beast, a second, like unto a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it, and they said thus unto it, arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard. So what we got is, we've got a lion coming, right? There's a lion. And we got a bear. That's the second one. A lion, a bear, and now comes the third part. Let me go back up here and find that. So we got the lion, the bear. Now, in this case, we know who the lion is. The first was like a lion. We know who that is. That's Babylon. All right? Let's go a little bit further. Another beast, the second like a bear. All right? We know who that is. If you didn't know who that is, that's Russia and China. I'm just looking here. So we got the second, we had the first, and let's get the third. And another beast, a second like unto a bear. After this, and lo, another, this is the third one, like unto a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast also had 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Here's something to know. So you got a lion, you got a bear, and a leopard, and a 4th beast. I want to now compare these dreams because Daniel is being given this. Nebuchadnezzar had 4 parts. He had 4 parts to his dream. Daniel is definitely making a connection between what the lion is and what the bear is and what the leopard is. Daniel is given all of that. And the fact that they come after the lion. Then you got the bear. Then you got the leopard. The 4th beast, nobody knows what it is at this point. Listen to this. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast. The only thing we know about that 4th beast, brothers and sisters, it's dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly, and it had great teeth, great iron teeth. It's going to be something, okay? Why is that 4th beast going to be something? It was diverged from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. Now, this is the 4th beast. Daniel is concurring with Nebuchadnezzar's dream. 4 parts. That's the connection. Let's go back to Daniel's interpretation of the dream that Nebuchadnezzar had. He says, King, of a truth it is that your God is a God of gods. This is what the king is telling Daniel. Your God is a God of God, a Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldst reveal the secret thing. Then the king made Daniel a great man. We're not going to read all of that. But what I want to just show you is how they were grateful when Daniel was able to interpret the dream. He goes on up here. You saw, King, I'm going back to these 4 parts. All right? I want you to look at them. 4 sections. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of man, but they shall not cleave one another, even as iron is mixed with. Talking about the 4th kingdom. And in the days of these kings, listen to this. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Then he says, listen, that stone that you saw, that mountain made without hands, that it break in pieces, the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, the gold. Listen, that is something, King, you got to take into serious consideration. This is Nebuchadnezzar. I'm just paraphrasing. He goes on to this and say, the dream is certain and the interpretation thereof sure. All right? So we're just showing you 4 parts, and Daniel had 4 parts. Let's go to the 9th chapter so you can see how Daniel then is shown in another dream how power transfers. All right? Playing with the same perpetrators. The lion, the bear, the leopard, and the 4th beast, which nobody could come up and try to put some sort of description onto it. That's what I want to say. No description could be attributed to it. So let's go to Daniel. Let's go back to Daniel, and we're going to go to the 7th chapter. All right? 4 beasts came from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion. All right? We know it had wings and stuff like that. But I just want to get out that the first one was like a lion. And behold, another beast, a second, like unto a bear. That's Russia, brothers and sisters. And it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs. Okay? So this one here is not taking so much in vain, not taking so much, not sparing anything. So you got another beast, which is a bear. You got the lion. The first was the lion, and the second was the bear. Let's get a little bit more information about the third one. Here he goes here about the third beast. Let me see. Here we go. The first is like a lion. Where's my second? Another beast. The second like a bear. Okay. And I behold another, this is the third, like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and the dominion was given to it. So that's the third. Now let's look at the 4th. And I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast. Now listen to the description. Not attributing it to an animal, not attributing it to any other 4-legged creature. He's simply saying the 4th beast is dreadful and terrible, strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. This is the 4th one, okay? Great iron teeth. It devoured and break in pieces. That's what it's doing today. It stamped the residue with the feet of it. It was diverse from all beasts. Again, lion, bear, leopard, and the other one, there's no description that Daniel can put it on. Okay? This is important. Now, let's go to I'm going to go back to the 8th chapter. I want to show you the transfer of power. Here we go. Here's the transfer of power. The 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me. This is just a vision. But look at the vision that Daniel had. Again, you've had Nebuchadnezzar, who had a dream. He saw the statue in 4 parts. The head, which was gold, silver, and then he saw the other one that was bronze, but the other one he could not put anything to it. That's why we keep going in the order that we're going in what we call them. The lion, the bear, and the leopard. And the 4th one, Daniel had no type of animal that he contributed under. So let's keep going. And I saw in a vision, it came to pass that when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam, and I saw in a vision, and I was by the river Ulai. So he's only been given so far that there's going to be a vision going on, and we're going to give. He says, I saw the vision came to pass that when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam, I saw in a vision, and I was by the river Ulai. Listen to this. Then I lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before me a ram which had 2 horns. Now, it's important to know something. Daniel had this dream in the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar. This is a descendant. A vision appeared unto him, even unto me, Daniel. After that which appeared unto me first at the last. So basically, Belshazzar is during the days of his ancestor or relative, King Nebuchadnezzar. But Daniel gets a dream. Here's a dream. And I saw in a vision, it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is in the province of Elam, and I saw in a vision, and I was by the river Ulai. Then I lifted up my eyes and saw, behold, there stood before the river a ram which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the higher came up last. This is saying a lot. You look at this, you can't even fathom it, because you do see rams, because you got the lion, now you got the ram coming, okay? Got the ram. I saw the ram pushing westward, northward, southward, so that no beast might stand before him. And neither was there any that could deliver him out of his mouth, but he did according to his will, and he became great. I notice how the Bible says he became great. This is important because they call this particular beast, it is represented by Alexander the Great. The Lord has a way of showing you how prophecy is going to connect itself. The ram has 2 horns. Again, you got the lion. I want to go back up here because what he saw in his night vision, he saw a ram having 2 horns. One was higher than the other. This ram went anywhere he wanted to, did whatever he wanted to, but he's not in charge by the time as of yet. Later, he gets in charge, the ram, because the power during the year of Belshazzar is when the relative Belshazzar is in charge, and then Daniel's given a dream. The Medes and the ones that defeated Belshazzar, who was king over Babylon. Let's go read it. And as I was considering, behold, and he goat came from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. So you got a ram, and then you got a goat. And it came to pass, and he came to the ram that had two horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran unto him in the fury of his power. So here comes this goat to take out this ram. I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler against him, and smote the ram, and brake his two horns, and there was no power in the ram to stand before him. But what did he do? He cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of the hands of this goat. I want you to look at that, because you got the ram, and he was there all the way until here comes this other one. Therefore, he that waxed, he goat. So you got the ram, and then you got the he goat. The ram is taken out, campoosh, by the he goat. All right? Let's read one more. I want to read one more. I want to get into the fourth one. Right here. The fourth one. I want to show you the fourth one. All right, here we go. He's letting Daniel know something. You got the ram, which is going to get in charge. We're showing you how the goat takes him out. And we know that there's four, but listen to the chronological order of how things unfold. Look at right here. Right here. The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings Media and Persia. Now keep in mind, when Daniel had this dream, it's only in the 9th chapter that Belshazzar is doing some crazy stuff. And I believe it might be the 6th chapter when he does some crazy stuff. Talking about Belshazzar. I'm looking for when Belshazzar loses his power, so you can see where we're coming up with this at. This is in chapter 5. Belshazzar the king made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords. They drank wine, and then they say, go get the vessels and the silver, which his father Nebuchadnezzar. You see, this is how we can connect what relative he is, which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which is in Jerusalem. And you know what they did? They wouldn't get it. They got it. But then from there, that's when things started to not look so good and cherishable for this brother Belshazzar, because you went and touched the wrong thing. You've been weighed in the balance. But let's keep going. Let's keep going right here. Because remember, Daniel gives the interpretation of the dream to Belshazzar, which is how things ended up on him. But then while he was clowning, because that's what I call it, he was clowning, listen to what happened. I'm going to go all the way down so you can see what happened as the power transfers. We're in the 6th chapter. I want you to see how things transfer. These presidents and princes assembled together to the king and said thus unto him, King Darius, live forever. All the presidents in the kingdom, the governors and the princes and counselors and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and make a firm decree. He's talking to King Darius, because remember, back in the 5th chapter, Belshazzar loses his power. But Daniel is being shown this in the 6th chapter, that how Darius is really coming up. All the presidents, the king of the kingdoms, the governors, the princes, the counselors, the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute. Now that's not going to be good for Daniel. Now we're going to get into that later. But I just want to show you how this individual is now in charge. That's Darius. Darius, brothers and sisters. Let's keep going. I want to go, and that's getting into the statue. I'm not going to get into all that. But I'm going back over here to what Daniel saw in his dream. I want to go back over here so he can see what he saw. First year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream. And here's the sum. He said, I saw by night vision, behold, 4 winds of the kingdom, 4 winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea. And 4 beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. Again, you got the lion, and again, you got the second, which is a bear, okay? And then you got the next one, another, lo like a leper, that's the leper, okay? And let's keep going. After this to the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast. Now again, no name, like an animal, like he did in the 2nd and 3rd, except for this one is dreadful, terrible, strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, and it devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. That's the 4th one, okay? That's the 4th beast. And then we got over here to the 9th chapter. Let's just keep going. Transfer of power, chapter 8. In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto Daniel. Okay, let's get the transfer of power. I saw in a vision, it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, which is before the province of Elam, and I saw the vision, and I was by the river Ulai. Then I lifted up my eyes, and behold, and there stood before it a ram. Okay? But then he sees a ram doing whatever he wants to, going westward, northward, southward, and saw that no beast might stand before him. He was okay. Nobody's going to bother this ram until this happened. Right here. And as I was considering, behold, and he goat. Here comes a goat. Notable. He came to the ram and ran into him with the fury of his power. So the goat takes out the ram. The ram is the second in charge, and the goat is going to be the third. The goat's going to be the third. I'm not getting into all what they did. I just wanted to show them to you what they're doing in the roles that they're taking. Look at verse 13. Then I heard one saint speaking to another saint and said unto that certain saint which spake, how long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice, the transgression of the desolate, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden underfoot? How long are these brothers going to be in charge? All right. He said unto me, unto 2,300 days, then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. And it came to pass when even I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought the meaning of that, then behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man. We know who this is. Gabriel again. I want to know the interpretation of this goat taking this ram out. Okay, let's get it. I heard a man's voice between the banks of Ulai, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision. So he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid. I fell on my face. But he said unto me, understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision. Don't get so nervous. It's the time of the end that this thing's going to come to part. Now, as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground. But he touched me and set me upright and said, behold, I will make thee to know what shall be, listen to this, in the last end of the indignation. These things are going to be coming up to pass. And you're going to understand them all the way to the last end of the indignation. For the time appointed, the end shall be. This is all dealing with the end. Listen to what he says. The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia. Now let me go back up here to verse 1 for a second. This dream was in the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar. A vision appeared unto me, even to Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. So this whole dream took place while this whole dream took place when Daniel now is transferring under leadership. Nebuchadnezzar, now Belshazzar. And we know under Belshazzar, we know that Daniel was the one that interpreted the handwriting of the wall. And we know Belshazzar died that night. But what he's given Daniel is how it took place, a goat came, although the ram is going to be in charge, a goat is going to come and take his power away because the bear is gone. Next comes the ram, then comes the goat. Listen to this. Now, therefore, listen to this. You know who the ram is. He says that ram that you saw, that is the Medes and the Persians. Let's go look and where he said that at. I want to show you who he said that they were. This is going to be important. Here we go. Verse 20. The ram which thou sawest having two horns are the kings of Media and Persia. Remember, horns represent kings, power. Listen to this. The rough goat is the king of Grecia. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. We're not going to get into all that. But I just want to show you that the goat is the king of Persia. So the goat is angry and takes out the ram. Okay? That's all Daniel is given. That's all he's given. And then he says this. Now that being broken, whereas four stood up forward, four kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation. That's out of the Greeks, but not in his power. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are gone, are come to the full, and a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentence shall stand up, his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power. He shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, practice, and destroy the mighty and the holy people. This person here in verse 24 is not going to be a good time. Let's keep reading. The first year of Darius, the son of Ahasuerus, of the seed of the Medes, which was made king over the realm of the Chaldeans. So he's now being given how now Darius is who's the king of the Medes. But then we know that that's just a ram. There's going to be the goat coming. All right, the goat. Now that we got that, let's go to Revelation, the 13th chapter. Revelation, the 13th chapter. And let's take a look at this. I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a great beast rise up out of the sea. Here's the fourth one, brothers and sisters. Because Daniel did not know, because Rome did not exist, Daniel never got to see all of that. All Daniel got to see during the days of Nebuchadnezzar, he sits under Belshazzar, his son, and here comes the ram representing the Medes and the Persians, but there's also going to be the goat, which is Alexander the Great, taking them out. So you got Babylon, you got the Medes and the Persians, you got the Greeks, but all he knows that there's going to be a fourth beast that's going to be different from everybody else. And let's read it. I saw upon the sand of the sea, and I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. This is who he saw. Daniel dream is being confirmed by the book of Revelation by John. Listen to what John saw, because John saw one comprehensive statue. Listen to this. The beast which thou saw, here we go, was like unto a leper. So you got a lion, a bear, and a leper. Notice that he gives it to him backwards. He's going to go leopard, bear, and lion. Listen to this. The beast which I saw was like unto a leper. His feet were the feet, here we go, of a bear. And his mouth as the mouth of a, here we go, lion. So right here close, we have these words: a lion, a bear, and a leper. A leopard, a bear, and a lion. All right there. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly body was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? So you can see that what Daniel had, John the Revelator is seeing. We call him John the Revelation, but John in the book of Revelation is seeing this same thing. And who is this beast going to be? Listen to this. And there was given unto him to speak great things, and he had blasphemy, and power was given unto him to continue for only 3.5 years, which is the same thing as 42 months. So you can see what he had done. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name, his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven. And was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. This is pretty big here, okay? To be given this kind of power. And all that dwell upon, this is the fourth one, by the way. And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him. It's gonna be a rough time, brothers and sisters. It's gonna be a rough time. I'm gonna stop there, because we've given you Daniel's dream compared to Nebuchadnezzar's, and we brought it right to the book of Revelation. And that's what we were able to do tonight. Just a quick lesson to bring that to you so you can get some understanding from that. Yashanika, thank you for being here. Drake Middleton, thank you for being here. All you brothers and sisters and moderators that came in tonight. I love this connection when we show the 4 parts that Nebuchadnezzar had, the dream that Daniel had, although, and it kind of lets you know he was in the year or in the days of Darius, the days of Belshazzar, and he was there when Belshazzar's knees started to shaking together when he saw the handwriting on the wall. And it was Daniel that told him that you have been weighed in the balance, brother. And guess what? You in trouble. And that night, the scripture says in the dream, that night, Darius came in and took over. All right. So that's the second one. That's the ram. That's the Medes and the Persians. And here comes the third one, which is the goat. And the goat takes the ram out, takes him out. We don't get into the book of Daniel to show who took over or how Greek was defeated or who defeated. We don't see that in the scriptures. But what we can do is go into the scriptures and confirm that the Medes and the Persians defeated Babylon. Alexander the Great defeated the Persians. So we know that's true. And the fourth beast, if you want to know who the fourth beast is, just simply find out who defeated Greece. And it was the Romans. And that's how we know who the fourth beast is of the earth. All right? I'm going to go back to that. It was given unto him to make war with the saints. Talking about the fourth beast. He's going to make war with the saints, brothers and sisters, to overcome them. And power was given him over the kindreds, tongues, and nations. That's the fourth beast. So when you look at this, you can really go into the encyclopedia and get all this information. Let's do that real quick. Let's just go to Google real quick. And let's just do this. In our Google, I just want to put this in here real quick. And then we're going to end this. All right? I want to put this in here. Who defeated Babylon in world history? All right, here we go. Cyrus the Great. That's the Persian king. There we go. See where it says Cyrus in 539 BC, Neo-Babylonian Empire fell to Cyrus the Great, the king of Persia. Now let's go back and say, who defeated Persia? Well, it helps if I spell that the right way. Okay, but let's just look. Here it is. Alexander the Great. And one of history's first true superpowers, the Persian Empire stretched from the borders of India down through Egypt and up to the northern border of Greece. But Persia's rule as a dominant empire would finally be brought to an end by a brilliant military and political strategist, Alexander the Great. There you go, over Greece. Okay, you can read other information about that. Now, let's go back and find out who defeated Rome. No, we can't say it like that. Who defeated Greece? That's what we want to know. Who defeated Greece in world history? Ancient Greece was one of the dominant civilizations of the Mediterranean, dominant civilizations in the Mediterranean and the world for hundreds of years. Greek, because they defeated Persia. Like all civilizations, however, ancient Greece eventually fell into decline and was conquered by, here we go, the Romans, a new and rising world power. Nebuchadnezzar does not get a fifth part, a fifth section to go beyond Rome. Nebuchadnezzar is not given anybody else that, like he had the ram and the horn, the ram and the goat, and then the fourth beast. He don't talk about anybody doing anything to the fourth beast. What happens to the fourth beast is the statue, the stone, struck the statue and it disintegrated. So there you go. Rome is the new and rising world power. It's Rome. That's how we know who's in charge and who's doing what. All right? So that's what's important. Once you know this, and it's Rome, and Rome is still in charge today, and we just verified it with Scripture, you'll notice that the Bible does not talk about anything else outside of the fourth beast, because there is none. There is none. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, had two horns like a lamb, and he spoke as a dragon. And this is talking about the fourth one. He exercised upon all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them that dwelleth therein to worship the first beast. This is how horrible this fourth beast is. I'm just looking at it, scrolling up so y'all can look at it. And all we know is that fourth beast is going to do this. He's going to cause all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand. Don't take it. Or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell except or save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. Here's wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, 666. See, we can be given so much information that once you understand it, people are not looking for, you'll know who to look for. People that know this is not looking for nobody beyond Rome. It's Rome. When you see the abomination of the desolation, Rome, stand in the holy place, operate out of Jerusalem. When you see that, there's going to be a great tribulation for 3.5 years. When you see Rome start to operate out of Jerusalem, out of the temple, you're going to see a tribulation like you've never seen before. All right, that's our lesson tonight. I want to say to all of you all that's in our chat room, peace and blessings to all of you. I had a good time with y'all, as always I do. But to all of you all that came in tonight, we just scrolling up, scrolling back to say hello to everybody. We're going to get out of here, brothers and sisters. Don't forget, Tuesday will be the last day of the feast. If you're anywhere in Fort Lauderdale, come on by. The lesson starts at 12:30. You'll be out by 2:30 getting a nice little snack, and you could be on your way home. Unless you want to just hang out like the rest of the class does. Just kind of hang out and fellowship. So we're going to be doing some fun things tomorrow. All right? Come on by and be with us at Bethel. That being said, I'm going to get out of here, brothers and sisters. As we always end, let the words of your mouth, the meditation of your heart, let it be acceptable in his sight. Lord, be our strength and our Redeemer. In Jesus' name we pray. Here's my high priest. Peace to all of you.
I never ever realized just how much you mean to me, because I was once blind, but now I see that you paid it all when you hung upon a tree. You're my king, even my high priest. Lord, you're the only one who can intercede for me. Take my prayer before the Father when I fall down on my knees. You know my prayer even before I speak. You're my king, even my high. Create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit in me. For you're my high priest, Lord, I call thee in time of need. Save me, oh God, from my own way. Spare me, oh Lord, to live alone. Hurricane, it's you that I see. You're my high priest. Looking back on my life has been so much hurt and pain. Lord, since I have found you, now all of that has changed. You gave me your word, and your word it brought me peace. You're my king, Lord, you're my high priest. Create in me a clean heart and renew a right spirit in me.